historical ninjutsu. Was this what they did at this time? How did they do it this time? You know, what references are you using? It's good to know the history of the ninja and the samurai and the technique that was exactly at that time and all those kind of things, or why they did this, when they did this, how they did this, all that is good. You should know that when you're training in the arts. But I also think it's important that you can't stop the art at a certain time period. So some people want to learn ninjutsu, but they don't want to learn ninjutsu in the Sengoku period. They don't want to do it in the Edo period. They don't want to do it in the Meiji period. They just want to do it in a certain time period, where all of these arts, they were passed down through Kuden year after year after year, teacher to student, teacher to student. And because they get passed down by people, there's going to be change. The reason the art is still here, the reason we have it, is because it changed. Not changed in a negative way, like, oh, it's not historical. No, it is. But because it adapted. Because if you don't change, you die off. Quote, historical ninjutsu of the school. It is the historical ninjutsu of the school. But as the years go on, you see other things added to the teachings by the various grandmasters of the past to make the art prevalent or relevant in the time that they lived. You would never take away technique. So technique that we have in Sengoku Jidai, well, that stays there. But then Edo period comes. There's different things they need to do, so they add technique. And the Meiji period comes. Okay, we have that. That gives us this historical connection to the Sengoku Jidai. So now we'll do this in the Meiji period. The training of the arts has to be taught in that way because that's the way we are as people. Every technique, when it comes to ninjutsu, for the most part, is something that's going to be on call and then right now. There's like, we know that ninjas sawed fences to break in, right? Or they sawed through windows, or they climbed up a wall to get inside the castle, or whatever their technique is, right? Or smoke signals, or this, or this, or this. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different techniques that they did, or maneuvers that they did, just to do that one idea. Because it changed, depending on the situation. Everything is constantly in change, depending on the situation. You know, I think it's even in the Bon Senshukai, isn't it? Where it says, like, everything's constantly in flux. And only ignorant ninjas stick to these basic ideas. Well, it's the truth. You got people that are like, we're only going to do it the way it was written in the Sengoku Jidai, and it's like, they don't get away from that. But even the historical text itself says that you have to change, and it's constantly in flux. It has to adapt. They cling to these historical texts, but they don't do what the historical text says. I think the historical techniques are very important, and I think we should use those as the fundamental teachings of the school, which is why we continue to do them. I also think that we have to take these historical techniques and make them relevant in today, because we need to grow as people as well. And even though ninjutsu at a time was about stealth and espionage and assassination and brutal guerrilla warfare and all this kind of stuff, all of that has now changed to be an art that's made for enlightenment.